Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike, representative and host of the Ferris State Cutting Board TV show. I am joined this morning by Vaarun Singerdi. Vaarun, how are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Good morning, Mike. Thank you.
Yes. So, Vaarun, what are we making this morning?
Today we are going to be making onion pakoda.
Onion pakoda. How very interesting. Tell me, why would we be making onion pakoda? Like, what sort of time would we be making this?
So onion pakoda is typically consumed in India, especially this version is consumed in India, all over India.
Okay.
Typically the time would be the perfect time if you ask me. It's going to be like a nice monsoon evening. It's raining outside, it's muggy, it's cloudy, it's kind of dark.
Okay.
And then that's when you want to be sipping on a cup of chai and crunching on some onion pakoda.
I see. What sort of chai would you say goes best with this?
So that is going to be masala chai. That's my specialty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Masala chai. I've actually had that a couple days ago when I was dining with you. It's actually very good. You made it very well, and I thank you for it. So
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead. Let's get started. So what is going to be like our core base ingredients for onion pakoda?
So for onion pakoda, and then as the name suggests, it's going to be onion. Onion is going to be our main ingredient. That's going to be our king ingredient.
Okay.
Followed by some other spices that you see on the other side of your table there.
Okay. What sort of spices do you think we're going to be using this morning?
So today we'll be using a lot of these Indian spices that we use in most of our cooking.
Okay.
One of them is going to be cayenne powder.
Cayenne, looks like we got that right here.
Mm-hmm. So that's the red powder.
Very spicy, I know it is.
Very.
Okay.
Ultimately hot.
Okay.
And then we will also be using a lot of earthen flavors here, and that's going to be our ground coriander, ground cumin, and whole cumin.
Okay. So we got two different kinds of cumin. What's the reasoning behind that?
So we want the entire mixture. So we are going to be using a batter. Right?
Okay.
We'll be making a batter for our onion pakoda. And for the batter, the ground spices are the ones that are going to be nice and sticking into the batter.
Okay.
And the whole spices are going to be adding that extra flavor whenever you need it. And
Okay.
when they get fried in oil, it's going to taste even better.
I do see. So wait, we got a lot of oil in here. Why are we using so much oil in this dish?
So, because it's a fried dish, that's the answer. So, onion pakoda is like, to translate this, I mean, this is a dish that has been there for like thousands of years, right?
Okay.
Different regions in the world, different parts of the world like to make it in a different way.
Okay.
In the United States, you should be familiar with onion rings.
So you can find that at most fast food restaurants.
That's right.
Okay.
So it's just like an onion ring. You have this kind of buttermilk batter around an onion ring, and then that's deep fried. So that is exactly what we'll be doing, but just with a different batter.
So you call this more like a snacky kind of food then, not really a meal.
That is correct. We would call this a snack, just like an appetizer maybe.
Okay.
Before you have supper.
Very well. Let's go ahead and get started with this. Vaarun, how are we going to be starting our making of onion pakoda?
All right, so first to make onion pakoda, we are gonna have to start the fire under this oil.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of oil and it's gonna be taking a lot of time for it to get piping hot.
Okay.
So I am immediately going to do that.
Now, are we looking for the onion to like, boiling point or just get it to be really hot?
This oil just got to get really, really hot.
Okay.
Not too hot as we see smoke coming out of it.
Okay.
So that is why I have it on medium flame.
Okay.
So it's going to take its time to get hot. The other thing why that needs to get hot to that exact temperature and why we're not using it on high flame is because if we speed up the process of oil heating up on a high flame, the moment we pour our batter, our onion, the first batch is immediately going to be burned.
Okay.
So that is what we want to avoid.
Now, I immediately see like sort of like shadows forming in the oil. It's sort of odd. What are those shadows?
That's just the oil molecules being oil molecules. That's kind of upon heat, all the molecules are letting the friend molecules, their neighbor molecules, know that, yo, I'm heating up, so you gotta get close. Yeah.
Very well. Well, what should we be doing in the meantime while the oil heats up?
So, yes, that's a good question. So we can start our prep immediately.
Okay.
And now what I have here is 300 grams of onion which are sliced. But if you notice, they're also broadly sliced. They're not thinly sliced, so you can hold them in your hand.
Okay.
It's not thin sliced, it's broadly sliced. Now, the reason why we want to broadly slice them is so that when we are crunching into an onion, we feel like we're crunching into an onion.
Okay.
When it is thinly sliced, some of them are gonna, with the heat of the oil, they're gonna caramelize, and we don't want that. We want the texture of the onion to still be present.
Okay.
So the 300 grams of onion, I'm immediately going to take them into this mixing bowl,
All right.
just like that. And then after this, we are going to marinate kind of our onion with all the whole spice and ground spice ingredients that we have.
Okay.
Firstly, we are going to use our ground coriander.
Coriander.
In no particular order, they can go in any
Okay.
order.
Now, what else would we use coriander for?
So ground coriander is a very natural freshness and earthy taste that it adds to your food.
Okay.
This is also another thing to say that it makes your food bitter if you add too much of it.
Okay.
Coriander and cumin, both are the same thing. They're that earthy flavor.
Okay.
When combined, you get that nice aftertaste on your tongue, like after you have a morsel of food. That is what we're aiming for here.
Okay. So we're just pouring in all of our spices then?
That was 1 teaspoon of ground coriander
Okay.
that I just poured in. This is going to be 1 teaspoon of ground cumin that I'm
okay.
going to be pouring in.
And then would this be 1 teaspoon of whole cumin then?
That is correct.
All right.
That is going to be 1 teaspoon of whole cumin.
Right on.
That is perfect. And then next up, we are going to have, now
The
this is
cayenne.
an ingredient that you want to use very carefully, very sensitively. This is ground cayenne. This is a very special ground cayenne coming from my mother-in-law back in India. She makes,
Wow.
she just sends me food all the time. Love her for it. So this is a different kind of ground cayenne than what you get in Meyer or any other store here,
Okay.
because I have tasted them. They're not that spicy. This is coming from India. This is probably going to be very spicy.
All right.
So
well,
this is 1 tablespoon, not 1 teaspoon.
Well, I'm a huge fan of spicy foods, and I'm really excited to try this.
Awesome. I hope it's not going to overpower anything.
Right on.
Once this is done, we are going to be using our ginger garlic paste.
Now, does it matter what kind of onion that we use in this, like the white onion and the red onion?
So it doesn't really matter. It's up to choice, I would say.
Okay.
Red onions, I like red onions. That's a personal choice because red onions pack a punch in them as well.
Okay.
They're far more, powerful.
Okay.
You're radiating that kind of energy out of them. Whereas the yellow onions are usually have a sweeter note. They also caramelize quicker.
Okay.
And white onions are going to be very fresh. They add that kind of freshness taste to your food.
Okay.
So here we have our ginger garlic paste.
All right.
This is 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste. And again, I thank my mother-in-law, shout out, for sending this to me.
It's very wet, I noticed. Is that just how garlic is then?
So ginger and
Oh,
garlic.
ginger. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, ginger and garlic, both of them have moisture in them. So when you're putting them in a blender, right,
Okay.
those moistures release out.
Okay.
And that's what makes the mixture wet.
Okay. Now, ginger, I know that is also used in masala chai. Is that the same ginger we were using the other day?
That is correct.
Really?
It is the same ginger.
Okay.
And then we have salt here. This is going to be a 1.5 teaspoon of salt that I am using. But then again, everyone has their own different tastes with salt, especially.
Okay.
So it's, I would say, to taste.
Okay. It doesn't actually feels like the perfect amount of salt. It's really not that much. But at the same time, it could be overpowering.
Oh, yes. And then here we have our green chilies. These are Thai green chilies.
Thai. Okay. Actually, very small when I look at them up close. They're very small peppers. So if I try one?
Oh, I wouldn't try that.
Why not?
It's going to be extremely hot, burning your tongue.
Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't be here for the entire show. I would be very careful with these because their Scoville count is going to be a tad bit higher than even jalapenos.
Really? Yes. Wow. Okay. Well, I will maybe save that for Yen as like a special treat. I might try one of these.
Right. So now that all of our ingredients are in that bowl, in our mixing bowl. Now the time is to get our hands dirty.
Okay.
And from now onwards, we'll be mixing this so hard, you're going to see it's just mixing, making sure all of our ground spices, especially our cayennes, the ground coriander, the ground cumin, are being absorbed by our onions in this batter.
Okay.
So,
how long are we looking to mix this for?
this is going to be for quite a bit of a time until I'm satisfied with the consistency. After I put in the flours in here, I have two different types of flours that I will be using in this batter as well.
What flours are we using?
So we will be using chickpea flour.
Chickpea flour.
That is right here.
It's a lot of chickpea flour.
That is it has a tad bit of yellow coloring to it. That's
Okay.
how chickpea flour is. And yeah, chickpea flour is going to be our main ingredient. That's the more flavor packing ingredient that we have. And then we have the rice flour after that.
Okay. Now, why rice flour and not like wheat flour or corn flour or something like that?
You could substitute with corn flour too.
Okay.
You can substitute rice flour with corn flour. Usually flour is just going to be a binding agent for us.
Okay.
You see all this mixture that I have right here. We just got to make sure that it binds to something so that it doesn't separate as much when we put them into the oil.
Okay.
And the reason why we're using rice flour and chickpea flour or corn flour and not wheat flour is wheat flour has a tendency to burn very
Okay.
quickly, so we don't use that.
Okay. This looks like it could be like a gluten-free, diet-friendly dish if you're using rice flour, not wheat flour. Is that true?
That is also true, but we also have, chickpea flour is also fine.
Okay.
But then I'm going to start with my rice flour.
Now, how much rice flour are you adding? Like, how many grams of rice flour?
This is 2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons, okay.
Of rice flour. And then once that is inside, first we got to make sure that it kind of sticks to all of our onions here in the batter.
Okay.
And then I'm going to reduce the flame a little bit on
All right.
my oil as well.
I can go ahead and start mixing this as well, if you don't mind.
If you want to get your hands dirty, yeah, absolutely. Go
Let's get this
ahead.
going.
And then what I'm also going to do is, now this is going to be 150 grams of chickpea flour.
Okay.
The reason why we are doing 150 grams is because we have taken 300 grams of onion. The chickpea flour got to be exactly half from the size or the proportion of your
Okay.
onion. So I'm going to be then adding this to that mixture.
Okay.
Now this is where your hand is going to start to get very hard and you need a lot of power mixing this.
I do feel that. It's getting almost like sticky in there.
Yes, very much so.
Like it does feel like it's turning into a batter almost.
And we don't need a lot of water for this one. We only need like a tablespoon of water or maybe even not.
Wow. Okay. It's
yeah.
not a lot at all.
Oh yeah.
It's like getting stuck to my hand.
So,
It's so
so
weird.
you see what you can do is you can, when you're mixing the batter as well, you can separate these onions a little bit like that.
Okay.
And that's going to make sure you're using up all the batter, like all the flour
Okay.
into the batter.
Now, isn't water needed in order to make a batter?
Water is needed for batters,
Okay.
but guess what?
What's that?
Onions have moisture.
No
in them.
way. So we're just using the water in the onions.
In the onions. Now,
Okay.
now you see once we start to squeeze this batter, just a little bit, not too much so you're breaking the onions, just
Okay.
a little bit of a squeeze to it with some power, you will be squeezing out that oil, the water out
Okay.
of the onions, which is naturally gonna convert this into a batter.
That's so amazing. How do people find this kind of stuff out? It's so amazing.
It's just practice. And someone just was experimenting one day and were probably like, this tastes awful. So let's not add a lot of water.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is just years and years and years of experience and maybe practice and application in the world. And that is when people figured out what the perfect proportion
Look at
is.
this batter. Like, it's getting all over on my hand. Like, it's actually turning into like almost like breadcrumbs, uncooked breadcrumbs. It's so weird, like an actual dough almost. It's so amazing. Now, there's a lot of flour on the side, so we're looking to like get all that stuff on the
Yep,
side as
we are-
well.
We are going to get all that stuff on the side.
So look at that. There's a lot of powder left over. Okay.
And if there is like a tablespoon of water.
Okay.
Absolutely
We'll
right
grab
now.
that real quick. Now, I don't know, is there a measuring thing somewhere, or you just want to eyeball it?
I will eyeball this.
Okay.
So in my palm, that much.
Not
that,
much.
that should be great.
All right.
That is more than enough.
Set
for
this off to the side.
this batter. This is the only thing in this process that's going to take a lot of time.
Okay.
But otherwise, the cooking time for this dish is going to be fairly quick.
Okay.
So now you see it's becoming a single mush.
Yes.
And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to give it a squeeze like that.
Ooh, let me try that. Right, one good squeeze. Let's get it all together. Let's get one good.
And then
Wow.
it's so hard, right?
It is. That's so amazing. It's a giant clump of onions and spices.
That's right.
Wow. Oh, it's so amazing. And my hands are absolutely filthy, but it's worth it. All right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this is the only moment where things are going to get a little bit dirty, but good dirty.
Yes.
All right. We're just going to make sure all onions have that batter.
Okay.
And then now, once we are satisfied with the consistency, I think I am,
Okay.
and now it's ready to fry this. So we have our oil up to temperature, and then I'm going to take, slight bits and pieces of this, and then some areas in my oil. So you see immediately it's going to start to fry. So what you can do, if you like different shapes as well, now with onions, after they come out, they're going to look like, calamari.
Okay.
So baby octopus, okay? But if you want to shape them into any kind of shape, thanks to this the sticky nature of this batter, you can shape it in whatever way you want, and then you can release that into the oil.
Okay. Let me try forming something out of it. So let's take a little bit. Is that, you say too much?
Too much, yeah.
Okay.
You want more people to enjoy this.
Okay.
So the smaller.
Let's take a little bit. Form it up into a little ball, and then just, let's make a worm out of it.
Okay.
Like a worm onion pakoda. There we go. Nice little worm for everybody to enjoy.
And
Just
drop
set
it
that
in there. Perfect. And then I'm gonna just make sure that I am not leaving any more space here.
I definitely do smell like cayenne in this batter. It smells very nice.
That's that. Smelling cayenne is one thing, tasting it is another.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Some of those, even like those super hot, like ghost peppers or scorpion peppers, they don't smell that bad to begin with. Once you actually taste them, oh, you're down for at least an hour.
Oh yeah, they're very powerful.
So how hot would you say this oil is right now?
It's about. I really don't know. It is
Really
just
don't?
on.
Okay.
It was on medium flame.
Okay.
I would say it is hot enough to fry, and not burn.
Okay. Now we also have this.
Temperature-wise, if you're asking me, I don't know the temperature.
Well, we had a thermometer maybe. Now we also have this ketchup here. What are we using this ketchup for?
That is gonna be with what we will be consuming our onion pakoda today.
So sort of like the standard American ketchup and fries.
Ketchup
Okay.
and fries kind of a thing. So, yeah, ketchup usually goes well, but there are also some other kind of sauces or no sauces as well that you can go with.
Okay. What other sauces would those be?
Like chili sauces and any kind of even adding more spice to it. Like my
Okay.
favorite would be a chili sauce, but then again, I like a lot of spice.
And we also do still have these leaves. I believe you said these were curry leaves.
That is correct. Now that's going to be used for garnish once this is complete.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I am going to just pray that I'm going to start to wipe my hands just a bit.
Kind of make one more.
I am not going to be able to wipe it off entirely
And
because of how hard this batter is.
Yeah, this batter's drawing onto my hand and making that pasty almost feeling on it.
Almost like concrete forming on your hand.
It's so odd.
So
It's not coming off.
this is really here. Help yourself.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right, let's get this off.
It's gonna take a lot of
Oh
that.
man.
Or washing it under water is gonna be the best way to go about it.
Okay. Yeah. This requires a proper rinse off in order to get this stuff out. It's absolutely caked onto my hand. Suppose we'll just have to live with that.
But notice the colors that you're gonna see in this batter now. It's turning more orangish, reddish brown, kind of orangish brown kind of a color.
It's truly a
For
shame
that.
I'm colorblind.
And that is exactly what I was aiming for as well.
Throw this away real quick. Here we are.
All right. Look at that.
Now, what's the name of this tool that you're using right here?
So this is a strainer.
Strainer,
So this
okay.
basically we want to remove any excess oil.
Okay.
And then if you can grab that plate right there,
Yes.
this is what we are going to be setting our dish finally in.
Okay.
I'm going to move this batter bowl aside.
Here we are. Now, how long are we looking to cook these or fry these in the oil?
So it's going to take a while.
Okay.
You're going to know it by the color. You don't want the onions to get burned here.
Okay.
But at the same time, you don't want the onions to get cooked all the way 100%.
Okay.
You want it to get cooked like around, I want to say 90%.
Okay.
85, 90%. Because once you even take that out and plate it, the heat itself is going to cook the onion.
Really? Okay.
And you should never cover this dish with anything.
Oh,
you
why is
have to
that?
leave it to air because that's where the crunchiness, you're going to retain the crunchiness in the dish
suppose
if it is exposed to air.
I suppose it would create moisture within the actual environment if you had topped it. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So the heat is going to create the moisture inside, and that's going to make our pakoda soggy.
Okay.
So we don't want the pakoda to be soggy. We want it to be crunchy.
I'm not a big fan of chewy onion rings. I like my crunch in them.
And that's that. We're getting...
All right. I got a question from the chat. Derek Rotman asks, with how dark the batter is, how do you tell when the fry is done?
Exactly. So that's what I said. I am looking for a nice golden brown kind of a color. So if you're looking at this right now, one of these is giving me the color that I really wanted to see. That is this guy right here. That went in first, I believe. I don't know.
Okay.
So you see that kind of a color.
Okay.
So it's that kind of reddish brown.
Okay. So it's very much darker than the original orange batter that we had.
That is correct.
Okay.
Notice how the other ones are still orangish,
Okay.
like so. And we're waiting for, to get that kind of a color.
Okay.
We're almost done. Maybe another 2 minutes, and we can remove all the contents and plate it.
Okay.
And after that, we're gonna just pour in some of our curry leaves in here.
Okay.
And that's gonna fry those curry leaves. And then we just top those curry leaves on top of our onion pakoda.
Okay. I do notice that some of the onions are separating from the rest of the batter. Is that too much of an issue? Or is that just something that happens?
That happens, and again, if it is not too much batter, but you're using too many onions also, that could be another a reason why that is causing it. But usually the batter that we had, you saw how hard that was.
Oh,
it's just a
yes.
binding agent,
It
so it's
still
naturally
is.
going to bind our onions.
Okay.
All right, so these two pakodas are ready to be served right now, so I'm gonna take them aside.
Still bubbling in there.
And then I did have this on medium flame.
Okay. Now, how long do we want these to cool, would you say? Or just eat them right away?
You want them to cool because, like I said, the onions are still cooking inside
Okay.
with the heat on top of the pakoda right now.
Okay.
So we want that to settle down because also immediately after you take it out of oil, they're going to remain soggy for a second or two.
Okay.
For like a minute, I would say.
Okay.
and then after that, you're going to get its actual crunch.
Okay. How very interesting. I don't know.
Any other spicy food that you like to eat?
Uh,
What is the spiciest you ever had?
spiciest I've ever had. Well, a couple weeks back, I did an increasing spice level challenge. Ever watched a TV show called The Hot Ones on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
I actually did that, like with me and a group of friends. We did like increasing levels of spice on some chicken nuggets, and it was actually really good. The spiciest ones were a bit difficult for me, but I do love some spicy wings.
Oh wow.
Buffalo wings are some of my favorite foods. Here.
Oh, that is nice. That is nice. See, the thing is, chicken reminds me of something too. This is a purely vegetarian dish that we are making today.
Okay.
But a similar set of ingredients, but different batter ingredients can be used to make another dish. Another one of my favorite that I made in some of my other cooking shows is chicken 65. That is my favorite dish, which has some meat in it, and it is also going to have the same kind of crunchy kind of texture to it.
Okay. What's the meaning behind the 65 in the chicken 65?
That dish was invented in 1965.
Really?
By a person from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. That is a state in India.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where it got that name.
How interesting.
All right. Look at those colors.
Oh, I see the
This
worm
one.
in there still.
You see the worm? All right, this one is also nice and cooked now.
Right
I'm going to
on.
be removing them once we... So you notice how the color also changes after the
Yes.
moisture is evaporating out
It
of
gets
them?
that dry. It almost gets like more brown. I would say. It almost does look like it's that frying color that you see on like a chicken wing or something.
Right.
Okay.
So we're all done here.
Oh,
Hello?
got something over here. Who's this?
Hey,
What's going
we
on?
smelled something really good. What are you cooking?
Oh,
got
we are
some-
making some onion pakoda today. Welcome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Perfect timing for a
Well,
nice snack. in
Good
the
afternoon.
morning.
My name is Mike.
You gotta say that back, Mike, if you want to wash it.
I can wait.
No.
I am very excited to try one of these as well.
All right. We're almost done, Mike. Can you pass me the curry leaves now?
The curry leaves. Yes.
Now, this is where things can get a little bit dangerous, so move away.
All right.
Move far away.
Okay.
Ooh! Whoa!
That is because the oil is still hot. I would have reduced the flame a little bit. It only has that initial spatter, the
Okay.
curry leaf. And then once that is done,
It's all gone. It's like it's all done.
it's all gone. It's all gone.
Yeah.
It's all good now.
What caused all that spattering?
So the moisture.
Really?
So on hot oil, water, do not mix hot oil and water for all the kids at home. And once you get that kind of coloring on your curry leaf and it's nice and fried, now this is going to be used for our garnish. This is when we can turn off our stove.
Okay.
We're almost ready now.
Wow.
So we really didn't put those in there for very long. Just maybe like 10 seconds or so.
Just 10 seconds.
Okay.
And as long as they have a crunch on them as well.
Okay.
Okay, so they become hard. So let me show you one. See that?
Oh,
Wow.
that looks amazing.
All right, now our dish is ready. So I'm gonna make some space over here for our tomato ketchup
Okay.
on the side.
Wrap it up.
And
Very nice.
there we go. First dips.
Go ahead.
Let's go for it, man.
I don't know where to start.
Let's get this on camera. Oh yeah. Gonna try this. It looks amazing.
Cheers. That's
Very
so-
good.
that's
Good
so
job,
good.
man.
Well,
Try it, Mike.
let's go for it. Nice and spicy.
Very some ranch.
Well, I think